Hello, and welcome to Big Bang Radio Spotlights. This is a show where we talk to independent artists from all around the world, all about their music and their process for making it. I'm your host, Nouran, and today I got to talk with musician Sam Lewis. Without any further ado, here is the interview. Sam, thank you so much for joining us today. We really appreciate you taking the time to talk with us. I'm going to first start by asking you, how would you describe the music that you typically create?
It's very synthy, very kind of very old school. I would say kind of 80s kind of influences, a lot of Talking Heads influence, Depeche Mode, Nine Inch Nails. Musical influences are often very subconscious and you can't really pinpoint them a lot of the time.
So it's different from song to song when you create it?
Yeah, each song, they vary a lot. So each EP or album or single or what have you, or even within an album, they change a lot. Yeah, it's really hard to define the sound, I think.
And when it comes to your creative process, when creating new music, how does that work for you?
I write with my laptop on Ableton Live software, and I make demos using samples, synthesizers, MIDI, stuff like that. And it's usually, and then I like write lyrics and whatnot over top of those beats, I guess you could call them. I think the creative process within that is very kind of trial and error, which I think is common for a lot of songwriters, that you make one line and it's bad, and you make another and another and another, and you can go through that process of just like making bad lyrics, for example, and then you finally just come up with one that feels good, and you're like, okay, I'm keeping that one, and then you do it again. We started recording everything remotely, obviously, in the past year, and it works really well. They're all good engineers and whatnot, so they can do that themselves. But yeah, the original kind of song starts with me just here in my apartment.
How did it really start for you to get into music? And has anyone influenced you to get into this industry?
I was always very interested in music. Like as a child, I started like piano and guitar and, lessons like that since I was, I don't know how old, really young. And I took to it really well. I really liked it. I didn't really consider music as a career until I was maybe 20 or 19. I think like it always felt unrealistic as a teenager. It just didn't seem very practical. I spent most of my time as a teenager pursuing aviation. I wanted to be a pilot. And I kind of I'm not sure what happened. It's like I gained some confidence or something. I wrote some good songs and thought, okay, maybe I can do this. And in terms of inspiration, I think it's just teachers. Like I think I've had so many music teachers since I was a child, just private lessons, school teachers. So I've had so many of them, and they are so kind of they form the way you create and the way you think about music. So they have such a strong impact on their students, and so I think that's what I would say for that.
I want to talk about the recent EP that you released. What was the process like creating this EP, and how long did it take to record this record?
That first EP was kind of a lot of stuff about kind of finding an identity and setting up my identity in a new city. And then EP2, like you're asking about, it's very, it's a lot more relationship kind of stuff and a lot more kind of, I don't know. It's hard to describe those EPs as like having cohesive meanings or anything, because I remember intentionally writing those as practice rounds, kind of. I was like, I didn't want to start off with any expectation when I was writing those songs. I wanted to really make records impulsively and in an experimental way. Not that it's experimental music as a genre, but that it was exploring ideas. That was my thought process for the whole creative process, from writing the first demos all the way through to recording, mixing, mastering, was just like, how can I use this as a learning experience? And yeah, I think it worked. It went really well.
I don't wanna say what I mean, 'cause it doesn't matter. I don't wanna say what I mean, 'cause I don't care. I don't need a knife to cut my ties. They'll find my diamond when I finally sign my love. You know I got my back down.
When you create music, what is like your personal purpose or goal?
Genuine self-expression that is completely unfiltered. And there are not a lot of places or times in life where it's okay to do that. There's always kind of social rules or guidelines or how you're supposed to act in situations, and you can't. It's very difficult to get into this kind of free mindset where you can really let go and express yourself honestly. And so the whole process of writing music, that's like the best part, is when you first write a song. The only way to do it is to get into this unfiltered, kind of genuine, expressive zone. The most valuable part of making music is about that catharsis, that genuine expression and unfiltered expression, which you can't really do otherwise. So yeah, that's what it is for me.
What do you think is your biggest challenge that you have encountered in the journey of your music?
The challenge that I am still kind of dealing with is in, like I was talking about earlier, all the songs are so different from each other. Some of them kind of have a similar mood or atmosphere or influence, but across our discography, there's so many different kind of paths that you go down on these songs, and that is not good for marketing. People, people want a brand. People want a little package of like a face that they can just attach their identity to and go, okay, I know I can put this in a box and I have it here and whatnot. But if an artist does that really well, you know that it's forced. I think really it's making different types of songs it's what I love about making music. It just makes it hard to like do the branding thing properly. So I'm still navigating that. I like to say I don't care, but I do care. I want people to hear the music. And I'm still seeing how that goes.
Thanks to Sam Lewis for sitting down with us and talking all about his music. If you want to see more interviews just like this, you can find us online at Studio 67 NCC. Thank you all for watching. I'm Nouran Shaban. Remember to stay positive, and I'll see you next time.